Hello, baseball fans. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and we are back for Game 7 of our 1908 Chicago White Sox replay, featuring the excellent baseball game of Replay Baseball. And very excited for this matchup. It's going to potentially be an iconic pitcher's duel, two of the best of that time period. Ed Walsh will be on the hill for the Sox, who embark on their first road trip of the year to face Addie Joss. And Joss, in real life, won this game 5-1. He pitched a 4-hitter against the White Sox and moved to 2-1 on the year. And Walsh dropped to 1-1 on the year in real life. So we'll see if he can bounce back from that. And we're, of course, playing in Cleveland at League Park, and a very pitcher-friendly park, with the exception of the singles. But for long balls, pitcher-friendly, and we will see how the Sox adapt. They are 3-2 in this replay, and of course with also an opening day tie against the Tigers due to darkness. So let's get straight to our lineups, and we'll play ball. For the visiting White Sox, same lineup, second game in a row. Patsy Doherty leads off in left. Fielder Jones in center. Freddie Perrant at short. John Anderson will be in right field again for Ed Hahn. Jake Atz at second. Jiggs Donahue at first. Lee Tannehill at third. And one change from the last game, the regular catcher Billy Sullivan is back in the lineup tonight. And of course, Big Ed Walsh on the mound. For the homestanding Naps, Josh Clark leads off in left. Bill Bradley at third, bats second. George Stovall third. Nap Lajoie, second baseman, is in a cleanup spot, followed by Terry Turner at short. Nick Clark at catcher. Joe Birmingham in center field. Bill Hinchman in right. And, of course, Addie Joss, who, if you watched the earlier games, was actually in a barbershop quartet with Mr. Ed Walsh, both fine singers, allegedly. So in spite of being rivals on the mound, they were partners in the singing business. So we'll see if they can make music tonight in this pitcher's duel as we're ready to get underway. Patsy Doherty, first up for the Sox. Here we go, play ball, and it's going to be an immediate fielding result. And will be third base for the Naps, a 2 there. So a grand total of 6 in column 4, and that is just going to be a ground out. So Doherty, 5-3 on the putout. We're underway. That brings up Fielder Jones, Sox center fielder. And going to column 5, going to have a total of 39 there, and 39, it's going to be a hit by pitch. So Joss comes in tight, drills him. And we have our first base runner of the game. Endurance-wise, Joss, he is a 31. And, of course, he has that +9, depending on how many runs he's given up. And Big Ed Walsh, very durable, got in 464 innings in 464 in 1908. And he is a 33/9 for endurance. So Freddie Perrant up, and we got 5s all the way around. That's going to be a 21 and a base on balls. So runners advance, and Joss in trouble and wild early here. We're going to go to the M action chart. So a potential passed ball or wild pitch. And 8's going to be a wild pitch, and roll of 3 is not above Joss's wild pitch rating. So everyone is good there, and that brings up John Anderson, the cleanup hitter, in a position to put the Sox on the board, and that's not good. That's going to be a swing and a miss. Joss, a big strikeout. So 2 down now, and runners at first and second for Jake Atz. And the Sox as a whole, they are hitting 199 as a team. And they do have an ERA, only one pitcher, only one starter has given up any earned runs, so their ERA is currently under 1. Which is outstanding, of course. And Jake Atz, he's going to get a 2 in column 1, 3 for Joss, and another swing and a miss. So Joss hit batsman in a walk, but rebounds nicely to strike out the last 2 batters of the inning. And we head to the bottom of the first. Josh Clark leading off against Big Ed Walsh. And a defensive result to start for the Sox as well. And going to be a total of 8 in column 4. And that'll be a ground ball to shortstop. So 6-3 on the put out there, and that brings up Bill Bradley, the Cleveland third baseman. Hit 243 in 1908. And we go to column 3, and 5 is going to be a 3, and we're going to go to the ballpark chart on that. In Walsh's column, it is a 1. So column 3 on the ballpark chart, a 5 makes it a 5. So a total of, I forgot what Walsh was, total of 6 in column 5, and that is going to be a walk. So there the ballpark comes in and makes a difference. That would have been a ground out without that ballpark adjustment. So the Naps have a runner at first base, and George Stovall is up. He's going to try some hit and run action. Here we go. And going off the hit and run chart, for Big Ed Walsh, there's going to be a 5 there, and for the batter Stovall, it's going to be a total of 2, so 7 on the hit and run chart. Grounder into the hole, left-handed batter, which is Stovall, right-handed batter to second base, and check blue die against the pitcher's defense. If the die is higher, fielder makes second baseman's defense makes a diving stop, retires the batter at first, runners advance. If not, it's going to be a single. And that blue die, bad news for the Sox at second base for the Sox. Atz is only a 3, so that is going to be a single. Runners advance 2 bases. So we have runners at the corners, 1 out. And the Indians employing dead ball tactics to a successful result, and that brings up Nap Lajoie. And Lajoie going in the power column, it's going to be a total of 24 in column 6. And that's going to be a long single to the outfield into the gap. Runners advance 2 bases. Batter may try for a double, roll red and white die for the umpire's call. And here we go. He's going to go for it. Why not? 1-4, safe with a double. And that will put runners on second, third. We have our first run of the ball game in, an RBI double by Nap Lajoie. And the Indians break out on top of the Sox, who are on their first road trip of the season, 1-0. Still only 1 out. Terry Turner up, and Turner hit 239. Going again to column 6, and that is going to be a 61. And 61, and that's a double into the corner with 2 outs, runner with +3 speed. Not going to happen. It doesn't matter, no runners on first base. So Terry Turner drives an Ed Walsh pitch into the gap. I'm all tongue-tied, not used to seeing this many runs so early, and the Sox find themselves down 3-0 here in the bottom of the first inning. Catcher Nick Clark, the batter, and Walsh trying desperately to get out of this frame. It's going to be a fielding result. And the shortstop for the White Sox, it's going to be a 3, so 21 in column 4. That's going to be a single off the fielder's glove. Runners advance 1 base. So Big Ed Walsh in some trouble. And that, by the way, was the first, or these are the first earned runs he has given up this year. First and third. And still only 1 out in this one as Joe Birmingham steps up to the plate. And again, a fielding result. Once again, it will be the shortstop for the Sox. So a total of 3 for Freddie Perrant. 22 in column 4. And that's going to be more bad news for Ed Walsh. That's going to be a single off the fielder's glove. And again, these hits finding, C&I hits finding the spots for Cleveland. And that is the 4th run of the inning in, and Walsh is in big trouble. Bill Hinchman, the batter now, and Cleveland's going to bat around in this inning. Going to column 5, and that is going to be a total of 28 in column 5, and 28 fly out to right field if batter has a plus symbol and does not. So runner at third will not score. Or, I'm sorry, runner at second will not advance. So finally 2 outs, and that brings up the pitcher, Addie. He's the 9th Cleveland hitter to bat this inning. And going to the power column, let's see what Joss can do, and that's going to be a 61, and Joss, that's a double into the corner. Runners advance 2 bases, and with 2 outs, a runner on first with a +3 speed, which Birmingham has, comes around to score as well, and the Sox are getting routed early in this one. An 2 RBI double from the pitcher, Addie Joss. And that is 6 runs in for Walsh. And he is going to go to his B grades for the rest of this inning. So Walsh in big trouble. And going to be column 2, 1 for Josh Clark, a 38 plus 3. 41 in column 2, getting a lot of numbers not used to. That's going to be a ground out, shortstop to first. So Josh Clark ends it the way he started it, with a ground out to shortstop. But the Indians, or Naps, they send 10 men to the plate, tally 6 runs on 6 hits. And a walk in there for good measure. We're heading to the top of the second, and the White Sox have an extremely tall order ahead of them, trailing this one 6-0. And so for Walsh, yeah, he's basically going to have to be replaced here. He's going to be on his B grades. We're going to try and get him some work, but yeah. The White Sox are not exactly flush with quality relievers. Harry Billiard, who appeared in 6 games in relief in 1908, is going to get up and warming. Is this one already blowout? Let's see if the Sox can rally. Jiggs Donnie going to start it off, and he goes to the power column. It's going to be a total of 32 in column 6, and 32 in column 6 is going to be a pop out to third base. So no luck there. Lee Tannehill up, Sox third baseman. And Tannehill, he's going to drive that one into the gap, and that is going to be a double. So the Sox, balls are flying today. They finally get a runner on second base. And let's see if Billy Sullivan can start to chip away at this huge Naps lead early in this one. Going to be a fielding result on the third baseman. And for Cleveland down at third base, Bill Bradley is a 2. So total of 19 and 21. And that's a single off the fielder's glove, runners. So we've had that result come up 3 times now already. And you can see the variety with this game. That particular result had probably happened once in the last 2 or 3 games, once or twice. 3 times already here, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. The pitcher, Ed Walsh, and 1 down, he's going to be pulled. So it's going to be a quick day for Walsh, and the pitching matchup that many people had looked forward to definitely did not materialize. And instead of Billiard, the Sox are going to bring in Frank Owen to pitch. It's probably going to be a better option, and he'll be able to get hopefully deep into this game as well. They also need a pinch hitter. And that is going to be the left-handed Frank Isbell. So Isbell will bat for Walsh. And very disappointing outing for Big Ed Walsh. Lasted exactly an inning. So 2 on. Runners at the corners here, 1 down. Frank Isbell, the pitch hitter. And going to go to column 6, and that is going to be a 7 over there. Joss is going to make it an 8. And in column 6, that will be a single to left field. The runners advance 1 base. So down to second goes Billy Sullivan, and first run for Tannehill. gets the Sox on the board. And we will definitely not have a shutout. Remember, 4 shutouts in the Sox first 6 games. Obviously not going to happen here now, which is a good thing. We got some offense going. Back to the top of the order. Patsy Doherty up. Still 1 out, and 2 of the best pitchers in the game. Joss had a 1.16 ERA in 1908, and Walsh had a 1.42, and his ERA is going to skyrocket after this one. It was 0 coming in. So column 4 for Patsy Doherty, and that's going to be 11. Defensive check is on the shortstop, make it a 14. That's going to be a possible error. So Turner, 45, he's actually a pretty good fielder, and he still boots at 61. Wow, 1 base error, and the sacks are going to be loaded. We've got a lot of action in this one, and that is not good, the E6. So Joss, his ERA might stay low just based on his defense letting him down. So anything actually that scores at this point, well, 1 more out, and anything scores after that will be an unearned run. So in column 1, Fielder Jones is going to get a 24 total. And 24 total, line drive, single plus error. Wow, that goes into right field. And runners advance 1 base. And we have to get the fielding rating of the right fielder. And that is going to be a 51. So I'm sorry, 53 out there, so confident fielding by Bill Hinchman. And 53 it is, so he makes a play and holds everyone to a single base. But second run comes in for the Sox, and bases are still going to be loaded. And these 2 Hall of Fame elite pitchers both struggling in this one, kind of a shocker. Brings up Freddie Perrant, and that run, technically that run would be unearned because that runner would not have been in that position. So unearned run there on Joss, and that brings up Freddie Perrant, column 2. And we're going to go to the ballpark, and this is going to be a total of 58. So we need to roll for a new raised number on the ballpark chart. And that's going to be a 4, which actually is good. So 58 in column 2, and that is going to be a looping line drive. Goes into left field, and if the outfielder's defense rating is higher than the raised number beside, it actually is not going to be good. So in left field, the Indians, it's 3, and that would have been a play. Instead now, it is going to be a single, and runners advance 1 base, and 2 if their speed is higher than the outfielder's arm. So for the Naps, Josh Clark, his arm is a 4. And lead base runner is Isbell, and Isbell's speed is a 4, so it's going to be just a 1 base advance. So Perrant comes through, and it is now 6-3, and we thought that lead would be safe for Addie Joss. Apparently it is not going to be, and we're going to have another extra base hit, 61, and a double again down the line. And runners are going to advance 2 bases, and that brings in both Patsy Doherty and Fielder Jones. And suddenly it is 6-5. This is crazy, absolutely crazy offense. And a very exciting game early on for the dead ball era. And that too, one of those runs that come in is going to be unearned. So a big double for John Anderson. And the low batting averages and ERA that started this replay are both going to go bye-bye in this game. Again, a fielding result, and it's going to be on the second baseman for Cleveland. That's a 1, total of 6 in column 4. And 6 in column 4 is going to be a grounder. Runners advance 1 base. So that should have been the 3rd out. So that and anything that scores after this point is going to be unearned. 2 outs now, though, and runner at third base. And the Sox have batted around, so again up will be Jiggs Donahue. And Donahue started this inning off with a pop out. And going into column 6, it's going to be a total of 32, and he's going to end it the same way he started it, with a pop out to the third baseman. But the White Sox strike back with just as much venom as the Naps had, and it's now a 6-6 game heading into the bottom of the second inning. Just crazy turn of events here, as Bill Bradley sets the lead off against Frank Owen. And we should close the book on Walsh just to be official. Pitched 1 inning, gave up 6 hits. 6 runs. Unfortunately for him, every single one of those was earned. And you can throw in a walk for good measure as well. All right, so here we go. Owen trying to staunch the wounds here as Bill Bradley steps up. Going to be a fielding result, and it's going to be 5, which will be... Oops. One thing that would probably help is if I had the right pitching card up there. So that's going to be shortstop. So everyone's off to a rough start in this game. A total of 3 there, which makes it a total of 14. And that's going to be a possible error. So at shortstop for the White Sox, Freddie Perrant, a rating of 25, and that is going to be an error. So the White Sox first error of the game. And E6. Naps have their first base runner on here in the second inning. George Stovall, the batter. Going to column 5, and that is going to be 15 plus 3, total of 18 in column 5. And that will be an infield single, and we go to the M chart. The action chart, and again, this game just continues to be crazy. So total of 10, and that's going to be a potential pass ball and a blue 6. Pass ball rating is definitely higher, so we have runners advancing now to second and third and nobody out. So the scoring does not look like it's going to slow down anytime soon, as Nap Lajoie steps in, and column 5 for Nap. It's going to be a total of 22 in column 5. 22 on column 5, that's going to be a walk, and we go to the M column again. So bases loaded. And Frank Owen, that's going to be a total of 5. Potential wild pitch and a blue 1 thankfully does not occur, as that is below his wild pitch rating. So nobody out. However, Terry Turner, the Nap shortstop, steps in, and it's going to be a total of 6. And swing and a miss. Frank Owen with a big strikeout there. Somebody can do something pitching in this game. 1 down. Bases still loaded, however, for Nick Clark, the Naps catcher. And he steps up, going to column 2, and that's going to be a total of 20. And it's going to be a fly out to right field, runner on third base, less than 2 outs, scores. So that is going to be an unearned run for Frank Owen, as that should have been the 3rd out. But Bradley comes in to score. He reached on the error by the shortstop, and it is now 7-6. Cleveland in the lead. Clark does his job. Joe Birmingham, the batter. In column 5 we go again, and lots of action standardly in column 5. It's going to be a total of 10 there. And 10 bases, base on balls, runners advance if forced. And they are, so we have the bases loaded once again. And that brings up Bill Hinchman. And Hinchman, his first time up, flew out to left. And column 3, it's going to be a total of 35 and 35. Will we get out of this inning? No, it's a double to center field. The runners advance 2 bases. Wow, this is crazy. So that is going to plate 2 more runs as Stovall and Lajoie come in to score. Stopping at third will be Birmingham. And a 2 RBI double. And it is now 9-6, only in the bottom of the second inning as Addie Joss comes up. And again, all those runs unearned. 2 down, here we go to Joss and column 5. And that looks like, fortunately, is going to be an out. That's actually for stolen results. So column 5 and 1 plus 3, 4 in column 5, and finally a ground ball down to short. And inning is over, but the scoring continues. The Browns Naps put up 3 runs and do so with the benefit of only 2 hits. Had a couple of walks and an error thrown in there. And we now head to the top of the third, scoring this one. Cleveland 9, Chicago 6. So Joss is going to stay in the game. He's on his B grades now because he's given up 6 runs, half of which are unearned. And thus far, 3 of the 9 runs that the Sox pitchers have surrendered are unearned as well. So Lee Tannehill set to lead it off against Joss and going to column 3. And that is going to be a total of 5 in column 3. That'll be a short fly out to left field. Seeing if we can get a normal inning here. Catcher Billy Sullivan, the batter. And column 2 for a total of 15. And that's going to be a single to right field, so we're not done yet. And I should be going off B grade, so I'm sorry. That will be actually a total of 13 instead. That actually works out better, and that's going to still going to be a single, though, this time to left. So Sullivan on, 2 outs, and we can't go. We just don't have that many pitchers on staff to make constant pitching changes. Staying in column 1, it's going to be a 6, swing and a miss. So Joss strikes out his counterpart, and we have a reasonably sane inning. 1 hit, no runs, 1 error, and no errors, 1 batter left. Oh, actually, that's only 2 outs. My apologies. The Sox sent 10 batters to the plate in the second, so that's 2 outs. And top of the order, Patsy Doherty up. So 3 and a 2 on the batter's card. Going to make it a total of 5, and that'll be a short fly out to left field, and that gets us out of the inning. So the Sox get a hit, leave 1, and we are through 2.5. Cleveland up 9-6 in this one, and the fireworks look like they will continue. And back to the top of the order, so Josh Clark. Frank Owen, he can do 12 batters. He's already done 8, and then he has he's given up a run too, so he'll have the additional 8 batters he can face so long as he does not allow a base runner after he gets to his fatigue point. And Clark is going to be a total of 35 in column 6. That'll be a short fly out to left field. Coming in to take care of that for the White Sox is Patsy Doherty. And Bill Bradley steps up to the plate for the 3rd time in only the 3rd inning of ball. It's going to be a total of 1, and 4 in column 5 makes that a 3. And that will be a grounder to second base. And that actually, hold on, case in game. Okay, that relates to base stealing. So 2 outs, and Cleveland in danger of going down in order for the first time in this game after batting around in each of the first 2 innings. And back to column 5 we go for Stovall, and that will be a total of 30 in column 5, and 30 in column 5 is going to be a fly out to center field. So coming to get the Sox out of the inning is Fielder Jones, 3 up, 3 down, and we are through 3 innings, only 3 innings. It is 9-6 as Cleveland has the lead in this one. And Fielder Jones set to lead it off for the homestanding Sox. And again, remember, Joss is on his B grade. We're just trying to get some innings out of him here. So this is going to be a ballpark on a potential power check. And this could be bad for Joss. So it's going to be 5 on Joss's card, and on the ballpark card, and this will be a left-handed batter, a total of 5 is a 7, and that ball is going to get out of here. Fielder Jones, he hit 1 home run in all of 1908, and he has his first, and the first for the Sox in this young season here, leading off the 4th inning against Joss. And that was due 100% to Joss being on his B grade. So there you go. That and the ballpark making a difference. That cuts the score to 9-7. Freddie Peralta, the batter. And I don't know if Joss is going to be able to weather the storm for much more here. This is going to be a total of 38 in column 2. And that is going to be a ground out pitcher to first. So 1 quick out, John Anderson. And column 3, that'll be an 8. And that is going to be a single to center field, and 2 stars by Anderson's name. That relates to stolen bases, so runner automatically steals safely, and if the next base is open, roll 1 die and use the single asterisk procedure. So he could steal 2 bases here. So Anderson gets a single. Stolen base to second, and we're going against Joss's hold rating now, which is only a 3, and he still manages to hold him. So stolen base for Anderson, that brings up Jake Atz. 1 down, runner scoring position. Column 1, and it's going to be a 5 for Joss. Make that 9 total, and 9 total in column 1 is a pop up to the shortstop. Would have been a strikeout in any other scenario, so 2 down. Runner still on second, Jiggs Donahue the batter, and trying to keep this rally going. Column 3, and that's going to be a total of 13. Add 4 to that, 17 in column 3, and that is going to be a double into the center field gap. Runners advance 2 bases, and it is now 9-8. And I don't know that Joss is going to be able to survive this inning. Now, if Tannehill gets on, he's got to be pulled. Column 5, and this has been... I was really worried because the first 6 games were so low scoring and very dead ballish, and this is like a softball, beer league softball game here. So a grand total, Joss, a 3, so a total of 7 in column 5, and that is going to be a walk. So first and second, and God, Browns have got, or Naps have got to get a pitcher up and throwing. So, we get Glenn Liebert up, and I use this rule in other baseball games. He's got to be warming up, and Joss has to face at least 1 more batter, which is going to be Billy Sullivan, and going to be column 1 for a total of 40, and that is a ground ball to short, so Joss manages to get out of the inning. But the Sox collect 2 more runs on 3 hits. And the White Sox with their first home run of the year by the unlikeliest of hitters, Fielder Jones. So it is now 9-8. Cleveland in the lead as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. So Nap Lajoie set to lead it off against Owen, who is still fresh at this point, and we go to the power column, and just missed that. Josh gets a hold of that, and that is going to end up being a single to right field. And actually, 11 is an optional column, so I'm going to roll a one-sided die. And if he rolls a 6, this will be an inside the park home run, otherwise a single. And that's going to remain a single. So Josh leads off the 4th with a single, or Lajoie, sorry. My announcing is struggling as much as the pitchers tonight. So Terry Turner up, nobody out. Lajoie on first. Here comes the pitch. And 16 plus 3, 19. And that is going to be a deep fly out to right field. Going back to bring that in. Close to the wall is the right fielder, John Anderson. Lajoie retreats to first. He'd gone halfway, and that brings up Nick Clark, column 3. Going to be a total of 47, 51 in column 3, and 51 line drive toward right field versus a right-handed pitcher. That's going to get in, and runners advance 2 bases, 1 or 2 speed on first, stops at second. And not going to be the case here, as Lajoie is a 3. So runners at the corner, and the White Sox, Nick Altrock, who pitched a third of an inning yesterday, is loosening up in the pen. As both teams trying to find anybody who can get somebody out here. Birmingham the batter. And Owen is now on his B grade as well, so that's not good news. Column 2, and that is going to be a total of 38. 38 in column 2, and that's going to be a ground ball. Pitcher to first base, and runners advance 1 base. Actually, so we're back at double play depth. Yep, runners advance 1 base. So that is going to bring in the 10th run. For Cleveland, but there are 2 outs now as Bill Hinchman steps up. And column 6, 16, 21, and that's going to be a deep fly out to center field and a no-tone catch out there by Fielder Jones. Just pulled that one in, and so further damage is avoided, but a couple more hits and another run for Cleveland, and they lead this thing 10-8 as we head to the 5th inning, and this is just a crazy, crazy game. So, Frank Owen is set to lead off the 5th, and obviously we are going to have a pinch hitter for him because he was horrid in this game. So, pinch hitter will be the man who has his 2nd game off in a row, Ed Hahn. And the New Sox pitcher will be Altrock. And I believe he also has a hitting card, maybe not. Yeah, he does. All right, so Hahn into pinch hit. And Joss again on B grades is still hanging on. If he can get through this inning, he can get a decision at least out of this debacle. It's going to be a total of 25 in column 1. And line drive, that's going to be a single. And going to left field. And that will be no error. It's going to be a single, so 1 base only. As Hahn starts things off in the 5th inning, good for the Sox. Back to the top of the order now, and Patsy Doherty up. And Doherty, no bunting here. They think they have Joss's number now, and they probably do. Going to be a total of 9 in column 1. Pops him up to short. So a timely inside pitch there. Jams him 1 down. Runner on first base for fielder Jones. And going to column 3, we're going to go to the ballpark. And Joss will add 4 to whatever comes up on the ballpark chart in column 3, which is going to be a 4, so a total of 8. And that's going to be a single to center field. So single to center field and 1 base advance only for the runners. And Joss still pitching on his B grades. They just need him to get through 1 inning. He's set to lead off the bottom of the 5th. So it's going to be a 1 and make it a total of 4 in column 5. And ground ball to shortstop and infield at double play depth. And that's going to be a fielder's choice. Other runners advance. So Hahn down to third. And Jones gets erased at second. 2 outs now, and that brings up John Anderson. Anderson, he is double, single, scored, knocked in a couple, stolen the bases, struck out in this one. A lot going on for John. And column 2, that's going to be an 11. And make it a 13. And can Joss get out of here? No, it's a single to left field. Runner on second scores if there is 2 outs. No runner on second. And will be no stolen base attempt here. So that cuts the score now down to 10-9. And Apps could tie it. And again, Joss just trying to get out of this inning. And it's going to be a 2 and a total of 5. Pops him up, and that's going to be in the shallow right field. Going back to get that is Lajoie. And finally, this horrific outing can come to an end for Joss as the White Sox pick up 3 more hits and another run. That makes it 10-9. That will definitely close the book on Addie. Is going to pinch hit for him as well. Glenn Liebhart will be the new pitcher. So Joss goes 5 innings. Gives up a total of 13 hits. Wow. 9 runs, and 6 of them were earned. So again, probably the 2 best pitchers in the entire league in 1908. Look like a couple of bushers today. Beer league softball pitchers. Joss struck out, looks like just 2, and actually 3, and walked 2, and gave up a home run. So his day is mercifully over. And the Sox, Altrock will be their new pitcher as well. We'll close the book on Owen while we're at it. So Owen goes a total of just 3 innings. And he gives up 4 runs on 4 hits. 3 of those runs were unearned, fortunately for him. And he had 2 walks and a strikeout. So we'll see if Altrock can fare any better than his predecessors here. 10-9 at the halfway point of this game. Dead ball baseball indeed, as we will get a pinch hitter for Addie Joss. Not used to this much offense. So veteran Elmer Flick, and he only appeared in a handful of games for the Indians, but he's going to come in and pinch hit for Joss here in the 5th. So here we go, lefty-lefty matchup, and going to be a column 1 result of 20, and Altrock is not a strikeout pitcher. 25 in column 1, and it's going to be a line drive, single plus error. And that may be mishandled, so that goes into center field. And it just continues to steamroll, and it's going to be an error. So one base error, E8. As Elmer Flick singles, goes to second base. And Cleveland, no signs of slowing down yet. And we just make sure we have a hitting card for Liebert, and we do. So back to the top of the order, Josh Clark up. And he's going to hit away, column 2 against Altrock, and column 2, 6. That's going to be a total of 55, and we'll have to roll for a new raised number, so a total of 60. And column 2, 5. It's going to be a 4. So 60 and 60. Looping line drive into left field, and the fielder's rating out there has to be, the dice is higher, he is not going to get to that. And only a 3 in left field. So Doherty can't get to that, and that is going to be another single. And runner's advancement on that. 2 bases if speed is higher than the outfielder's arm. And for Flick, he's a 3. So he is going to be held at third. But again, Altrock doing no better than his predecessors. 2 hits to start the 5th inning. And we go to column 5. Going to be a total of 28 in column 5 and 28 in column 5. Fly out to right field. And batters do not have that raised symbol, so runners will hold on the base paths. First and third now, 1 down for George Stovall. Stovall, he's had a couple of singles, scored twice, flown out to center field. And going into column 5, a total of 28 in column 5, and that's going to be a fly out to right field. He does have this symbol, and that will be the second out, but it's going to bring home a run. So RBI sacrifice fly as Elmer Flick comes in to score. And that makes it an 11-9 game. Nap Lajoie, the batter now. 2 outs. Runner on first base. Here we go. And column 2 going to be a total of 21. And 21 is going to be a fly out to left. So Lajoie retired, but a couple more hits and another run for the Naps. We are through 5 innings. Cleveland leads this one 11-9. And Liebert now to see try his hand at getting some outs as we go into the 6th inning. Column 2, and it's going to be a total of 17. And he is off to a great start with a strikeout. And that was Jiggs Donahue, sorry. So Lee Tannehill, the batter, and Liebhart, encouraged by his initial success, back to column 1, and this time it's going to be a total of 18, and 18 will be an infield single plus a potential error. So this is going to go down the line at third base. So we will roll against the error rating of the third baseman. And again, Tannehill is a 24, so that is going to be yet another error. So E5 on the throw. And I'm sorry, it's still an error on Cleveland's second baseman, Bill Bradley. So E5 on the throw, and going to second is Tannehill. 2 errors now for both teams. And that's going to bring up Billy Sullivan. 1 down, runner on second base. And Liebhart trying to get out of this. And again, we're going to go to the ballpark chart, this will be a 58. 58, and the raised number is going to remain a 3. So 58, and that is going to be a potential rare play, and is not a rare play. A looping line drive into the outfield, and this is going to right field if the right fielder's defensive rating is higher than the 55, which is a 3. And it is higher, so fine play out in right field by Bill Hinchman. And 2 outs, and the pitcher spot up, and they can't afford to pinch hit. They've already burned. This is the 3rd pitcher on the mound already for the Sox. So we're going into column 1, and that is going to be a strikeout. So a hit for the Sox, but he's going to be stranded at second base. 1 error as well. And we head to the bottom of the 6th, still 11-9, Cleveland in the lead. Terry Turner leads it off against Altrock, and we're starting in column 3. And that is going to be remains of 5, so a total of 8 in column 3, and that's going to be a single to center field. So the hits keep coming as Nick Clark, the batter. And column 1, and we're not going to get a strikeout here because our man just does not get strikeouts. That's a 9. That'll be a pop out instead to shortstop, so 1 out. That brings up Joe Birmingham, and the Naps center fielder has a couple of RBIs today, has walked and singled. And we're going to column 6, and that's going to be a total of 33 in column 6. That'll be a pop out to second base, so 2 outs. And Bill Hinchman, the batter. Hinchman has doubled and knocked in 2 runs back in the 2nd. Column 2, and that is going to be a 50. 55 total in column 2, and that will be a ground ball second base to first. So another hit for the Naps, but they do not do any further damage as we are through 6 innings, 11-9. Cleveland in the lead, and Glenn Liebhart coming out for his 2nd inning of work. And he's going to start off with Patsy Doherty, going to be a defensive check on the first baseman. And that number is going to be a 1, so a total of 33 in column 4. And 33 in column 4 is going to be a pop out to first. So into foul territory to pull that in goes George Stovall. And 1 out to start the 7th. Fielder Jones, the batter, column 5. And going to be a total of 24 in column 5. And 24 is going to be a walk. And we go to column M, the action column. And 5 is going to be a potential wild pitch, and 4 on the blue die is right at his rating, so no wild pitch. Freddie Perrant, the batter now, and in column 6. And 27, single to center field. Runners advance 2 bases, so runners at the corners. And Liebert is not having any more luck than the other pitchers that have preceded him in this game. Column 1 going to be 23, and 23 is going to be a line drive single plus error. That goes into right field. So out there is a 4. So we'll roll against the error rating for Bill Hinchman, and 3. So he fields it cleanly, but the Sox get another run closer. RBI single, and it is now 11-9, or 11-10. And John Anderson, he has had an amazing day. He's 4 for 5 so far. That's his 4th RBI. So the hitless wonders, their bats have awoken as well as Cleveland's. Column 5 here is going to be a 4. Make it a total of 6 in column 5, and that is going to be a walk. So now Liebart, with only 1 out, has the bases loaded. Chicks Donahue, the batter. And going to column 1, it's going to be a total of 2, and 5 struck him out. So Liebart, a huge strikeout there, 2 down. Brings up Lee Tannehill. And Tannehill has a double, a single, scored a run. And he's also drawn a walk. Column 5, and going to be ones for both. A total of 2 in column 5. That's going to be a ground ball down to first base. And taking that up is Stovall. He's going to walk to the bag himself. 3 unassisted. And inning is over. So a couple hits. And another run for the White Sox to pull yet again within a single tally. It is 11-10 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. And I was going to do a fun fact today, but let's just talk about this game. Literally, the scores of this game, our first game was a 4-4 tie against Detroit. Then we traded shutouts back and forth with the Browns. There was only 3 of those 4 games were shutouts. And the winning team didn't score more than 2 runs in any of them. So, definite, in fact, the White Sox have eclipsed their total for the 6 games combined prior to this one with this outburst today. So, kind of fun, though. Nice to see a little offense in the dead ball era. And for Cleveland, they're going to let Liebert hit. They need to get some more work out of him. He has... He can face 3 more batters before he gets to his fatigue point. So he's going to go at least another inning. And that'll be a total of column 3. And for Altrock, going to be 8. And 8's going to be a single to center field. Wow. So both teams' pitchers have done okay at the plate tonight, as well as pinch hitters. Top of the order, Josh Clark up. And we are going to be in column 1, and it's going to be a total of 8 in column 1. That'll be a pop out to shortstop, 1 down. Bill Bradley. And Bradley, we're going to go hit and run again with him. So his hit and run chart is fairly solid. 2 for Altrock, and going down to Bradley's, a 4. So it's going to be 23. And 23, that's going to be a grounder to second base. Check blue die against the fielder's defense. If higher, runner is forced out on a close play. If not higher, runners advance. So it is not higher. And batter will be out, and going to second base is Liebhart. So 4-3 there, and that puts a runner in scoring position for George Stovall. And Stovall today has a couple of singles and a sac fly. He scored 2 runs, driven 1 in. And column 3, it's going to be a 2 and a 3, and we go to the ballpark again. And roll a 5, that makes it a 4, so a total of 7 in column 3. And that, again, the ballpark coming into play, that turns that into a single. And we'll check, that will get a runner to third, and Liebhart, we're not going to try and send him based on coach's decision. So runners at the corner, 2 outs, and you don't do that when Nop Lajoie is the batter. Even though he had an off season by his standards, only hitting .289 in 1908. But we're going to column 3, and it's going to be a total of 62. And 62 in column 3, and a potential rare play. So we'll see how that comes, and it is odd. So rare play, and we have runners on first and third. And again, this comes, 1908 yearbook comes with an addendum, a special 1908 rare play chart. So runners on first and third, And 2 outs, and it is a 1. A hard hit ground ball through the box. Batter rips grounder past the mound over the bag at second. Second baseman reaches for the ball. If he is playing in, ball deflects off his glove for a single. Runner scores easily. Runner on first. Tries for third. If he is playing back, which is the case here with 2 outs, scoops up the ball and back to second and races the runner from first to the bag. If his speed is higher than the oncoming runner, the out is made. If not, the runner scores on the fielder's choice. Okay, so speed, this is an unusual one. So going into second base, Stovall has a speed of 4E. And second base for us is Atz, and he has a speed of 3E, so things just cannot go right. So that is going to be a fielder's choice. Runner safe at second, runner from third scores, and that will be an RBI for Lajoie. So it is now 12-10, and the Indians, or Naps, have increased their lead again. That brings up Terry Turner, who has had a good day behind the plate, including a 2-run double back in the first inning. And column 1 is going to be a total of 15, and 15 single up the middle, runners advance 1 base. Runners with 4 or 5 speed, actually 2 outs, all runners advance 2 bases. So that is going to bring in another run, and B grades now for Mr. Altrock. And the beatdown just continues to get worse and worse, and a defensive check here. On Clark's card, it's going to be a total of 70, and it'll be on first base. So first base for the Sox, total of 72 in column 4. Oh, it's a 7-0. Oh, geez. Like, it doesn't even go as high as 70. So it's going to be a total of 9 in column 4. My bad. That's going to be a ground out. So getting out of the inning, but giving up 2 more runs, as the Naps get 3 hits and two runs, and they now extend that lead to 13-10 as we head to the 8th inning. And Altrock, he's just going to have to suffer and finish the game, B grades or not. Birmingham the batter, and it's going to be column 1. It's going to be a 2 there, a total of 7, and that's a pop up to second base. Well, I got to get it together. All this offense has me discombobulated. Sox are up. So column 1 and a total of 2, 4 for Liebert. And actually, he is on his B grade, so that'll be a total of 7. And that's going to be a pop-up to second base. So, same result. Different principles, and Altrock, like I said, he's just stuck going a distance on this one. And it'll be a total of 30 in column 5, and that's going to be a fly out to center field, 2 down. Back to the top of the order. And Patsy Doherty, column 2, and that'll be a total of 52 in column 2. Be a ground ball, pitcher to first base, so 3 up, 3 down. It's something that I've said exactly 1 other time in this, 2 other times in this entire game. So Sox are gone in the 8th. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning, and there might mercifully be only 2 more half innings left. 13-10. Cleveland in the lead, and Altrock pitching on B grades on the mound. And column 3, and that is going to be a total of 6. And 6 in column 3, short fly ball to center field. So coming in to take care of that is Fielder Jones, brings up Bill Hinchman. And Hinchman going to be number total of 3 in column 5 and add 3 more to that. So 6 in column 5, that's going to be a walk. Charlie Lieber, the pitcher up, he's going to bunt. He is a good bunter. And it's going to go to the first baseman and a total of 4. And runners will be back. That is a sacrifice fly. So 3-4 on the putout. And sacrifice hit going to second base is Hinchman, back to the top of the order, as Cleveland trying to scratch out some insurance here, which you never know. The way this game has been going, they might need it. And we are in column 2. And it's going to be a total of 5, and Altrox somehow manages to get the strikeout there. I have no clue how. Not a strikeout pitcher, but that ends the inning. So no hits, no runs, no errors, 1 left. We are through 8. It is 13-10, Cleveland in the lead. And this will be the last chance for the White Sox. So Lieber, it was often the case in 1908. I think we're going to bring in, we're going to bring in a fresh pitcher. So Cy Falkenberg is going to try and close us out. Traditional modern style for the save. Liebhardt went a total of 3 innings, only gave up 3 hits and a run. And it was earned. And he walked 2, struck out 3. All right, Falkenberg on, and he will try and get the save. Facing Fielder Jones to start the 9th inning here for the visiting Sox. And 5-3, that's going to be a total of 39. And 39 in column 5 is going to be a hit by pitch. So it is not over yet, folks. That's the second time Fielder Jones has been plunked today. As Freddie Perrant steps up, column 3. And that is going to be a re-roll on the chart in column, or the ballpark card. So column 3-4 is a 4. And total of 7 in column 3. And that's a single to left field. The runners advance 1 base. So first and second, and Sox are in business against Falkenberg, who's trying to nail this one down. Darkness is starting to set in the ballpark. Column 4 we go, a defensive check. And first base for the Sox is a total of 8 in column 4. Runners advance 1 base, so second and third now with 1 out. 3-1 on the ground ball there as Anderson's retired. That brings up Jake Atz, and Atz, he has actually not gotten a hit yet today. He has walked, but also popped up twice, grounded out, and struck out. So column 1, here we go. And that is going to be a total of 14 in column 1. And that's going to be a single up the middle. Runners advance 1 base. Runners with 4 and 5 speed advance 2. So that won't matter. Jones was going to score anyway. And going over to third is Perrant. And single RBI for Atz. And Atz is also going to try and steal. So he's going to go against the defensive rating of Clark, who is a 4. So he needs a 5 or 6 to be safe, and he's gunned down. And terrible, terrible, terrible base running decision there. Caught stealing and 2 outs as Clark comes up with a huge throw and jigs Donahue. Sox trailing by 2 now, and that out was huge by Atz. Who knows what he was thinking, but column 4. And going to second base And that is going to be the ball game as the Naps total of 2 in column 4, and that is going to be a 4-3 putout. Ball game is over mercifully, and wow, what a ball game it was. As the last inning, a couple more hits for the Sox. 1 run to cut it close, but not close enough. And we will add everything up and get you your line scores here in a second. Wow, what a game. All right, here is your final line score, and the offense I was worried about definitely showed up today in big fashion. For the White Sox, 11 runs on 18 hits, 2 errors. For the Naps, 13 runs, 16 hits, 2 errors. The winner in this game, I don't know that anybody deserves to win, but Addie went 5 innings. And despite giving up 9 runs, 6 of them earned, he's going to hang on and take the win out of here. And Frank Owen, Ed Walsh lucked out and is going to get off with a no decision after he only lasted an inning before he was knocked out of the box. Frank Owen, who gave up 4 runs, 3 of them unearned, will take the loss for the Sox. And stars in this game, many for Cleveland. I'm going to have to go with George Stovall. George today was 3 for 4, scored 3 runs and had an RBI. You could make a case potentially. He's actually probably the best case. Yeah, so there you go. George Stovall, player of the game. And until next time, this is a marathon, folks. Thanks for sticking with us. We've been getting games done in 35 to 40 minutes. This one took an hour and 12 thus far. So lots of action in this one. So for those of you, ID Jester talking to you, that think dead ball era baseball is exciting, well, this was a Sunday afternoon in the Park Beer League softball game. And if Harry Carey had been around in Chicago at this time and happened to be announcing for the other guys, I'm sure he'd be a 12-pack at this point with the ball game lasting as long as it did. But nonetheless, this one is over. So the Sox dropped to 3-3 now. And again, the craziest thing about this game for me are the 2 guys that started the game. 2 of the, if not the 2 best pitchers in the American League, at 1908 at least, Addie and Ed Walsh. And again, Joss had a 1.16 ERA, 1.16 ERA in a 24-win season in 1908, and Walsh in a monster 40-win season that also included 6 saves and an 0.86 whip, had an ERA of only 1.42. So there you have it. 2 of the premier pitchers in the league both get shellacked in this one. In fact, nobody really could pitch effectively today. And once again, the final, Cleveland 13, Chicago 11. We will be back with game number 8 of this replay. And until next time, keep rolling for the fences. Thanks for watching and have a good one.